the sensitive issue of rape, in a programme which includes some scenes which some viewers may find upsetting.
I'm Pips Taylor, and I'm investigating a crime that affects an astonishingly high number of people: rape. In Britain today, a woman is raped every 10 minutes. That's 6 women every hour of every day. Yet our conviction rates for this horrific crime are still low. According to the British Crime Survey, over 15,000 people reported being raped last year, but there were just over 1,000 convictions for rape. That's a massive difference. Why aren't we doing a better job of making sure that perpetrators are punished? How is our system failing victims so badly? I met with young women who have survived rape to try and understand what it's like to live through.
He had a knife to my throat and he told me that if I don't have sex with him, he's going to rape me.
I discovered that young people are more vulnerable because they often lack awareness.
There are people out there that are doing this and don't even realise that they're committing a crime.
And I confront the people in authority who are supposed to be putting rapists behind bars.
Very often people will think it's because we don't believe them, but it's not.
But ultimately, I confront our own attitudes and prejudices about who really is to blame for rape. Rape is not easy to talk about, but it's a problem that's getting worse, especially for young people. A recent government campaign highlighted the issue.
Stop being mean.
I don't want to.
I want to find out what's going on. I'm going to speak to women who are survivors of rape to try to understand what effect it has on people's lives. I'm starting in Aberdeen. I'm meeting Sarah Scott, a young mum who has agreed to speak openly to me about her attack just 2 years ago.
Sarah? Yeah, hi.
I'm Pips.
Hi, nice to meet you.
She hopes to encourage other women to come forward.
It'd be nice to be able to let my guard down sometimes. Be able to just relax. I haven't relaxed since the day it happened. I just want to be the old Sarah, you know, fun, happy, young girl.
It was Christmas time, and like a lot of young people, Sarah and her sister were looking forward to celebrating with a big night out. But for Sarah, things went terribly wrong.
It was just like any other night. You know, I met her at the nightclub. She was already drunk, and one of her friends had a VIP table upstairs, so there were like bottles of vodka on the tables. So I got drunk very, very quickly. We all got kind of separated throughout the night, all of my friends, her flatmates, my sister.
Looking for her sister in the nightclub, Sarah bumped into a guy who was a casual acquaintance, and she asked if he could help her.
And he was like, "It's okay, they're an after party at my house, it's fine." So I didn't doubt it, I had no reason to doubt him. He'd never given me a reason. Yeah, I didn't know him well, but why would someone lie about that? So we left the nightclub and went towards his flat. But when I got there, you know, he opened the door and it was dark inside. I was like, this is not an after party. He grabbed me by the arms and forced me into what I suppose was a bedroom. There was a dirty kind of mattress on the floor, and he pushed me onto it, ripped my clothes off, and then raped me twice. And I tried so hard to get away, and I just felt powerless. He held me down, he punched me, he beat me. I screamed, I kicked him, but I wasn't strong enough. He was a lot stronger than I was. He left the room, told me if I leave, he'll kill me. And I had no idea what to do. I was lying like my own blood on a mattress, thinking, what am I going to do? When I couldn't hear anything, I creeped through to see where he was, and I saw him like sleeping on the couch. That's an image that'll never leave my head. I'm not sure why, I just see him sleeping on the couch.
Sarah ran out of the flat wearing just a bloody dressing gown, looking for someone to help her.
I ran past the bed and breakfast, and there were two men standing outside smoking cigarettes. And I walked up to them, hysterical, help me, I've been raped. And they just looked at me in disgust. And
they didn't help you?
No, they went back inside.
Alone and exhausted, Sarah collapsed in the street. 2 CID officers found her and brought her into a police station.
All over my body there were bruises from his hands grabbing me, so I had these little bruises all over me. I suffered from quite severe vaginal tearing and black eye, scratches, cuts. I just remember sitting in the shower, just sitting there crying, watching all this blood drip off me and this dirt, and it just kind of sunk in what happened. And I just wanted to wash, and then I realised that he was inside of me, and even to this day I'll never be clean of that. Never.
Sarah's attacker was arrested that day. He denied raping her.
I don't know, I just think maybe I can move on with my life more if he could just admit that he did this. But he put me through all of that, and I can never forgive someone who did that. I can never.
Sarah's attacker was found guilty of her rape and sentenced to 8 years in prison. The fact that her rapist was tried and convicted sadly makes her case unusual. When police investigate a crime, they bring their evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service, who ultimately decides if the case should go to court. But the CPS drops more than half of the rape cases brought to them by the police. Just 1 in 4 rape cases originally reported actually ends up in court. So if you've been raped and your case does go to trial, you're one of the very few lucky ones. Although it probably won't feel like it.
Where would a victim stand?
A victim would have to come all the way.
Hannah Camplin is a legal expert for rights of women. They support victims going through a trial.
Yeah.
So the victim is actually a witness?
Yes, the victim is the prime witness for the prosecution case, so the first witness that they would call.
Okay, so they don't get a lawyer?
No, the victim has the Crown Prosecution Service lawyer to represent them, but they don't have a lawyer of their own, if you like.
I cannot imagine, like, you're standing here and you just know that someone who attacked you is standing there. That must feel horrible. Do people find it really tough?
I think everyone who's given evidence would say that they find it's not a pleasant experience at all. I think that some people would experience an element of satisfaction in actually telling people what happened.
Okay.
But I think it's really, really important to appreciate that this can be a difficult process, and the best thing to do is to get as much support and advice as you can do before you actually decide to go through this process.
A victim would be in here reliving through everything again, and the people are firing questions at you and questioning what happened, and they're doubting what you're saying. It must be really difficult.
Victims now have the option to testify behind a screen or via video link. Some women choose to face their attacker in court, like Sarah, although she wasn't prepared for the ordeal she then experienced.
I was terrified of him. He was a monster in my mind, and I just needed to face that fear. I really needed to see him and realise that he wasn't this terrifying person, he was pathetic. And at the end of that, I felt good. I felt good. I felt like I had accomplished something, but things changed as soon as the defence stood up. You can't prepare yourself for someone accusing you of things that you haven't done when you're not even on trial, and no one stops them. No one objected, no one said this is wrong. He accused me of liking it. General things like that, and it was horrific. It was horrific. I thought I was a victim, but at that point, I felt like a criminal.
I asked a senior prosecutor with the Crown Prosecution Service if more could be done to protect victims in court.
We try and make sure that we do protect them. We should also be looking at making sure that the counsel that prosecutes a case and our own advocates are properly instructed, that they are rape specialists, that they do jump up and object if there's cross-examination which is inappropriate.
The defence has their barrister, they have someone fighting their corner. The victim is a witness. Do you think that actually works properly?
I think it's the best system that we have got at the moment, and I think the protections that we've put in help tremendously. I still think there are things that possibly we can look at improving, but the way in which our system is, for any case, not just for rape cases, but for any case, it's an adversarial system where the prosecution presents their case and the defence challenge it.
For some victims, like Sarah, the experience of court feels almost like being attacked all over again. But despite her anger at how she was treated, testifying meant that ultimately she saw her attacker convicted.
Me and my sister stayed in the witness room because neither of us could deal with it if it was bad news. Then, about 15 minutes later, my friend and my mum walked through, and they had like a big smile on their faces and said, "Guilty." And I was actually jumping. I mean, if I could still remember how to do cartwheels, I would have done them. They believed me, and that was what was important, that people knew that I wasn't lying about this. This happened to me.
I think Sarah was incredibly brave to stand up in court and testify against her rapist. But how can our justice system make it easier for more women to testify in court and make sure that more rapists are convicted? I think part of the problem is our attitude to sex. We're bombarded with explicit sexual imagery every day. In ads, magazines, TV, phones, the web. A lot of it portrays women as up for sex all the time, and men as dominant and in control. And pornography is more accessible to young people than ever before. 1 in 4 boys accesses porn at least once a week. Kat Banyard, a feminist writer, thinks it's a serious problem.
We have boys and girls now